I used to believe that disability was a minority issue, something that only affects them, something that I could help with. I volunteered, supported, and cared for the people in this community, but I never truly asked the reason why the world was built in such a way that made them need help in the first place. In her lecture on disability studies, Rosemary Garland Thompson introduced the idea of markedness theory, how society marks certain people who seem abnormal and different, while others who seem normal remain unmarked and have the privilege to not get discriminated or stigmatized as different. The unmarked are able to move through this world without even thinking about it, while the marked are constantly reminded of their difference. And I had realized that I had always lived my life as an unmarked person. This classification of normal and abnormal was a very powerful ideological tool in the 20th century. As we know, Hitler and Nazi made the propaganda about who has the right to live and who's not. He believed in the eugenics, which was a study that believed superior genes should be preserved while the inferior genes should be eliminated, and this includes people with disability. So, we can see how just a little thought could actually affect everything. Growing up, I unconsciously adopted what is known as the medical model of disability. I believed disability was located inside a person, as if there's something to be fixed and cured, something unfortunate that requires a special accommodation. And this way of thinking made inclusion feels like a favor or kindness that I grant upon those who are lacking something. And without realizing it, I positioned myself outside the experience. But the social model of disability changes everything. It suggests that disability is created when someone encounters a barrier. So, disability is about environments, systems, regulations, and attitudes that fail to accommodate human diversity. Coming back to the idea of marked and unmarked, what if I told you that we could only occupy the unmarked life for a moment? What if I told you that there's a huge possibility of us becoming disabled or marked in the next second? Because through aging, illness, and cognitive decline as we get older, our humanness actually imprints disability on us. With this understanding, I realized that disability is also part of our human condition, and it made me feel equal, that apparently we have the same vulnerability and future. And it also made me feel responsible to create an inclusive and accessible world that one day we will also depend on. So, inclusion isn't even a favor or a kindness we do for some people anymore, but a justice and a right that we all deserve and should strive for. So, what can we do to make inclusion a real thing and not just an idea? First, we can try to implement together the regulations and laws from the human rights movements. We can help by reading and understanding these policies and help the people with disability to know how they can be benefited from it. Second, we can and should shape environments to fit humans rather than shaping humans to fit environment. By being aware of what people with disability might need in your workplace or campus, you can bring it to your leadership to remove the barriers and make it accessible. Third, we can support people with disability by raising awareness about inclusion, telling their stories, learn their history, or even learning sign language to communicate with them. As someone who wishes to contribute more inclusion in education and society, this realization shifts my perspective and responsibility to create a better and more accessible world where all can be included and feel accepted. I'm Caroline from Binus University, Indonesia.